Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm an MSR at Crane Credit Union in Linton.
I'm Don Baker. I'm Bailey's grandfather. I'm Edith Baker's son that worked at the credit union, was Bailey's great-grandmother, my mother. Edith worked at the credit union for, I believe, from 1972 until around 1990.
And what stories have been passed down about your great-grandmother's time working here?
Oh, a lot of stories. She had a lot of jobs in her life and raising 9 children, but her next favorite job was working at the credit union. She had several jobs working in factories and at the school. And later in life, she got a job at the credit union. It was her favorite because she loved people. She just loved people to come to her window and visit, and there would be a line at her window when the others weren't busy, most times. And she was known at Crane as the poet laureate of Crane. She wrote poetry for a lot of people on base. And in those days, the credit union was based in the old railroad depot on Crane. It's quite a quaint little place.
I have one. At Christmas, my dad and I were talking, and he said that she used to drive a green little bug car, and she drove really, really slow, which is kind of funny because I probably get that from her because I drive really, really slow, and there would be a line of traffic behind her, and my dad said they'd all pass her and then get down there and realize that it was Edith that worked at the bank. So that was kind of funny to know that about her.
What does it mean to you to be connected to that history?
Honestly, it's a big role to live up to because everyone talks about how great she was. But it's kind of cool to live in her legacy, follow in her legacy, because I'm starting to learn more about her that I didn't know because I was so young when she passed away.
When you walk into the credit union now, what feels the same? What feels completely different?
Well, to begin with, it's a different place.
Yeah.
As I stated, the original credit union, when it was founded, it was in an old building that the Navy base no longer used, and they let the credit union have it for that purpose. And since, we've gone now to, I do all my banking online. I seldom ever walk into a banking unit unless I just want some cash in hand, and it's a whole different world than it was my mother's day.
What are some values you feel that have stayed consistent over the years, even as the credit union has grown?
It's still a family unit. I mean, that's very apparent when you walk in and the people that work there have a family atmosphere. They talk like they know each other's families and children, and they talk amongst themselves, which is not always the case in every business nowadays. And I want to mention, just make a note of this, that several of my family still are credit union members. One of my sisters had belonged to the credit union since probably 72 or 3, and her account number only has 4 digits.
And what does it mean to your family to have multiple generations connected to the same credit union?
It's cool for me because I feel like we're kind of the same. I didn't know her a whole lot, remember a whole lot about her, but I'm a very big talker, so I'll catch myself. I used to be in the insurance business, so a lot of my clients will come in here, and it's so fun to get to talk to them. So we probably have that in common because I'm a talker, and so it's kind of fun just to get to know them and ask them how their day is. Or if you're in the drive-thru, we give doggy bones. And the pups that sit out there and just bark until you give them a doggy bone, it's just, I don't know, it's fun to be following in her legacy. And it was actually when I interviewed for this, my grandpa had told me, hey, so-and-so worked at the credit union, but I was so nervous for the interview that I did not even remember who he told me until later that night when I talked to my mom. My mom's like, your great-great-great-grandma worked at the credit union. And I was like, oh, that's who Grandpa said, but I forgot because I was too nervous for the interview. So they didn't even know when they hired me until after, when I was working. I came in and told Amanda, hey, just so you know, my great-grandma worked at the depot at the credit union. She's like, are you kidding me? So that was just kind of cool to have a full circle moment.
So did growing up with that history influence your decision to work here, or did the meeting grow over time?
So honestly, myself and my husband were actually members here before I ever started working here. And I like the aspect of you walked in, they talked to you. So really, honestly, I didn't even know she worked here until after I had applied. So no, my husband works for the Crane Army Ammunition Activity, the base, and he was like, Crane would be a great place for you to work. And this job came open and I applied and here I am.
So how does having that history shape the way you think about your role here today?
It makes me want to be like her. You know, everyone talks about how big of a person, like she was just a great person and she was so nice to the members. So it just makes me want to live up to her role.
And what would you want members or employees to understand about being part of something that's been here for generations? And this is for both of you, so feel free to answer it.
That just tells me it's a firm, steady, reliable institution that has been here all these years, and it's still a family.
Kind of the same for me. It gives me just a sense of security to work for a place that's been in business. I mean, to know that my great grandma worked here and was probably one of the earlier employees. And so that's just crazy to me that it's been around this long, and just it's a security for me to know that it's a great institution to work for.
No, the only thing I just still want to mention that all the jobs that my mother held over the years, the credit union was her favorite of all those jobs because she got to see people.
And I think I read an article online that she worked here after my grandpa died, and she still had 4 kids at home while she was working at the credit union. So, but there was 9 of them all together. So to love a job that much and have 4 kids at home by yourself had to be a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And another thing, the people at the credit union helped her manage her money and to save some money for retirement. And she used some of the income off of her interest to help her along with her retirement funds that got her through later years. And she just had a better life because of it.
What kind of jobs did she have before she came to?
Later, she actually ran a produce stand out of her front yard for a couple of years. And the 4 children that were there helped her with that and helped her survive, you know. And the older children ran their old pickup trucks half to death to haul produce to her to make that work. But the thing is that the credit union was as good to her as she was to them. I think people need to know that the credit unions work for its members to help them with their money.